Real life. I'm having ramen for dinner, y'all. I'm so hungry. I must have some chips. Hey, baby, I had my fun. Um, Hold up. um, we're about to play Pokemon. Okay, I want everybody to know it is 4 o'clock. I will not be going to sleep until 4 in the morning or because I'm doing a 12-hour run. It's just modded Pokemon. It's just heart gold, crystal, and silver modded. Oh, that. Why isn't my controller working? Uh, uh, I don't know. I might just have to reload. Hmm. Yeah, no. Icy, Darcy, and Stormy. W. Oh, that.
to enjoy my channel, but I do want you to understand why these two things happen on this channel. For me, coloring isn't separate from thinking. It's how I process what I'm seeing in the world and on screen. And these videos are me inviting you into that process. So if you want to color along, there's a link in the description. And if you just want to watch, that's exactly what this space is for as well. If you've been keeping up with this channel, you already know that I spend a lot of time thinking about how Black women show up on screen and how that affects us in real life. Because the way that we're written in fiction is almost always a reflection of how we're seen in real life. And I've spent a lot of time trying to reclaim some of the discourse we grew up believing. So when I'm talking about the ditzy or weird Black woman on screen, it's usually from a different perspective. But I've noticed that the conversations we have around these characters always come back to the same thing. Most people, or rather some people, have a very narrow idea of who a Black woman is supposed to be. And anything outside of that narrow idea that we have will make us uncomfortable sometimes in ways we can understand, and in others we're uncomfortable but we don't exactly know why. But this uncomfortable feeling didn't come from nowhere, and it definitely didn't start on screen. It started with the story that was written about Black women for everyone else, to explain us without actually knowing us and to give us characteristics to fit their narrative. And that story only gave Black women three basic personalities: the Mammy, the Jezebel, and the Sapphire. The Mammy was often seen as warm and nurturing, but she was mostly self-sacrificing. She existed to take care of everyone else around her, and of course, she was required to do it with a smile. Because why wouldn't she be happy serving everyone else around her? And if you didn't catch that, that was me being sarcastic. Her needs were never part of the story because they never were considered relevant to that story. And this could be its own video, but I think it's also worth mentioning here that the Mammy didn't just show up on screen by accident, right? After Black people couldn't exist as property, the next best thing was to control the narrative around how Black women were allowed to be seen. This character archetype wasn't created with Black women in mind. It was created from the imagination of her oppressors. It was fiction built from fact to justify what was being done to her after it couldn't legally continue. This character archetype that was created for Black women came from the sick and twisted fantasy of her oppressors. But the fact that Black people internalized that character type and started using it as a way to continue justifying the expectation that she should be self-sacrificing is what gets me. The only difference is that the Mammy wasn't self-sacrificing for her oppressors anymore, but it was for her family this time around. Now, onto the Jezebel. And ironically, although she is described as being over-sexualized and dangerous, she was also the only archetype that ever gave Black women any sense of humanity. Where the Mammy was just a prop that didn't have emotions or feelings, the Jezebel only had emotions that fit the narrative. Her emotions weren't given to humanize her, it was to be used against her. She was a danger to others because her emotions didn't serve anyone else, and oftentimes the Jezebel had to be taught a lesson. Unlike the Mammy, who existed to serve without needs of her own, the Jezebel wanted things. She had desires, and instead of that being seen as a positive, it was weaponized against her because a Black woman with desires of her own was considered a problem that needed to be corrected. And lastly, we have the Sapphire. She was supposed to be seen as the angry Black woman who was loud, irrational, and impossible to please. The name actually comes from a specific character, Sapphire Stevens, from the radio and TV show Amos and Andy. Is that how you say it? Amos? I don't know. A Black woman who was written to be nagging and constantly berating her husband. And that one character became the blueprint. But what's important to understand about the Sapphire is that she was never just placed as a funny character. Her image was used to socially control other Black women. She was designed to punish Black women who spoke up. And all of these women that I have on the screen right now at some point got labeled as a Sapphire in real life. And don't even get me started on Michelle Obama and all of the mean and nasty things people were saying about her just for expressing her own experience. I think it is also important to note that each of these archetypes had to be put in their place in some way. The Mammy was put in her place through the expectation of her just self-sacrificing. The Jezebel Isabel was through punishment of some way, and the Sapphire was through dismissal. None of these women were ever allowed to just exist. I will say pointing out these archetypes isn't as obvious as it used to be. Nobody is writing a character and saying this one is the mammy of the story, but I also don't think that these frameworks ever went away. They just became more subtle. The easy way to spot this, in my opinion, is just to look at how we as an audience reacted to these characters then and now, the language that we use to describe these women. So what I want to do now instead is just show you 3 women who were misread by audiences. And I'm not saying all audiences, I'm not even saying you. And if it makes you feel better, I'll include myself in that because I'm not talking at y'all. It's a conversation I want to have with y'all. So let's start with Eva from Deliver Us from Eva, played by the beautiful Gabrielle Union. And if you haven't seen it, I'll put where you can watch it in the description below. It used to be on Tubi, but it's no longer on Tubi. So if I can find some actual places that you can watch it without getting a virus on your computer, because you know, there are ways to find these movies, but you can search for yourself. But if you want to, they're out there. But basically in the movie, Eva is the oldest of 4 sisters. She's opinionated and she has a very specific idea of what her sisters deserve, and the men in her sisters' lives can't stand her for it. So they do what men in movies do when a Black woman is in their way. They find a way to make her the problem. They pull their money together and they hire someone to take Eva off their hands. So they pay a man named Ray, who is played by LL Cool J, to make Eva fall in love with him so she'll leave town and stop being a problem for the men. That's basically the plot of the movie, and we're also supposed to believe that it's a romantic comedy. And from the very first scene Eva is in, the show has already decided what archetype she is, which is the Sapphire. As a viewer, we're primed to see her as the obstacle, the woman standing between her sisters and their happiness. When in reality, Eve just wants to make sure her sisters have men in their lives that are actually worth something. And instead of passively allowing the men to play in her face, she speaks up. At its core, the Sapphire trope is about making women seem more masculine. Traits that would be praised in men, like not backing down from conflict or being direct, is used against women. Being confident as a man becomes aggressive for a woman. Standards that men have become unreasonable expectations if it comes out of the mouth of a woman, and a man that's direct is also seen as hostility from a woman. It's the same thing I noticed in my Love and Basketball video with Monica and Quincy, and just how different their experiences were as 2 people who played the same sport. The image of a Black woman who was too strong in whatever way they chose to show that was created to explain away the violence being done to her. So while Eva was never violent with her body, she was violent with her words. So although she was never actually lying or saying anything that was incorrect when she was voicing her concerns and thoughts, the movie wanted us to see that as if she deserved the payback the men were doing against her. Like she brought it on herself for being so outspoken. And that's why I used her as the Sapphire. Her words become the justification for their actions. She spoke too directly, so they responded with their own warfare. And somehow those 2 things are supposed to be equal. Eva never did anything to those men except hold them to a standard they didn't want to meet. And they responded by hiring someone to destroy her emotionally and remove her from her own family. And if you're focused on how she talks to those men, you're not paying attention to what they were actually doing. And as much time and effort that they put into making sure that we as an audience saw Eva as the problem, they really flew past why she was that way in the first place. Eva was 18 when her parents died, and instead of falling apart or even getting the chance to fall apart, she became the primary caretaker for her 3 younger sisters. She put aside her own dreams and built a career not because it was her passion, but because someone had to fund the future she was determined to give her sisters. And then, because of her sacrifice, her sisters grew up and got to experience what she didn't. So yes, she is controlling and she has an opinion about everything. And I'm pretty sure she would be difficult to be around if you're not meeting the standard that she has set. Mind you, the standard she had for everyone else was set that way because she could meet the standard herself. So let's clock that. It was rooted in survival. It was never about her being difficult. And what I find so strange is that the men in the movie never stopped to really think about why she was that way. No, I'll take that back. I'm sure her sisters told the men. They just didn't really care. Instead, the plot wanted us to celebrate the men who put their money together to get her away from her sisters. The movie wanted us to see her as a problem, but instead all it did was make me realize that this is what happens when you are given an impossible task and you somehow make it work against all odds. And because you could do it, it's only natural that you expect others to be able to do it. And nobody around her ever really got to that same place. So to them, she was always going to be too much. But to me, she was the only one in that movie that made complete sense. But let's talk about the ending. And I really did go back and forth because I wanted to split this video in parts because there were specific moments in this video that I really wanted to get into, but that's really not the purpose of this video, but it may become its own video. So what I will say is in the end, Eva apologizes to the men who paid someone to destroy her. She's the one who apologizes. And let's be clear, these men didn't just hire someone to distract Eva. They sent someone specifically to exploit her, to break down her walls, and to make her fall in love and then discard her. And when that plan fell apart, they staged Ray's death. They made her believe the man she had finally allowed herself to trust had died. They did that on purpose. And I think we're supposed to overlook that because the men in this movie were fine. I mean, objectively, I can say that. And of course, there's LL Cool J and his dimples. And yes, this movie was also partly a comedy, but still, we're socially conditioned to believe that assertive women need to be corrected. Mike, one of the guys that's with one of the sisters, even clarifies it himself and says, "We didn't say she was a bad person. We just said she was an irritating person." They did all of this to Eva because she was irritating. And then she gets rid of the Dandridge Fund, which is the fund that she built from scratch and sacrificed her dreams for, right? She wanted to be a horse trainer, but instead she got a job that was going to actually create a future that her sisters could rely on. That fund was supposed to secure her sister's future, but she instead splits it equally with the sisters. Not only that, but the men were aware of this fund and wanted access to that money. So my question is, why were they so eager to get her away from said money, and why did they feel like they deserved any access to that money? So now we know that Eva didn't just stand between these men and their relationships with her sisters. She also stood between them and the money they felt entitled to but didn't contribute to. Mike specifically wanted to move in with one of the sisters to get his hands on that fund. So the men called her irritating and also wanted access to the money she had while they were insulting her, of course. Her getting rid of that fund was the movie's way of making it seem like she was wrong for protecting what she built. And the men, they get everything they wanted. And the movie wants us to feel good about that, like Eva finally learned something and softened into who she was supposed to be all along. But Eva didn't grow, she just got tamed. And if you didn't know, like I didn't until I actually looked more into this movie is based on Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew, which is a lovely title to describe a woman, by the way. The play was written in 1590 about a woman who is mentally worn down until she's happily tamed. So I think that really tells us everything we need to know about this movie. Now let's talk about Cookie and why I think she's closer to the mammy archetype. On the show Empire, her character was loud, glamorous, unapologetic, and completely unbothered by anyone who didn't like it. And that's probably why you're confused as to why I think she's the mammy, especially with how I initially described this archetype, because the mammy that we all know is quiet, invisible. She doesn't take up space, and Cookie takes up all the space. But if we look past all of the glitz and glamour, the structure of her story is identical to the mammy. Cookie gave up everything she had to someone else's dream. Cookie went to prison for 17 years. She took that charge so that Lucius could stay free, so that he could build Empire Records, so that his dream could become a reality while she sat in a cell and watched her sons grow up without her. Not only that, she funded the whole thing. $400,000 of her own money went into building Empire Entertainment. Lucius didn't just get his freedom, he got his empire from her money. Her sacrifice and of course, her silence. Not to mention, when she got out, Lucius had a fiance and he had a company that was worth now millions of dollars. So his life was built entirely on what Cookie sacrificed. And maybe this is me going a little too deep in her business, but I only know this because the story tells us this. But Lucius is the only man that Cookie has ever been with. So 17 years in prison, and she still came out devoted to one man who she finds out had moved on. That's a level of loyalty that a mammy character would recognize. Total devotion to someone else's story at the expense of your own. And then there's her sons, right? Cookie is described as an amazing mother. She's protective, she's present, and she makes sure that her sons are safe. She does all the things as soon as she gets out. We could also say that she is the strong Black woman, but I think it's just more of like a modern version of the mammy, right? Like I think about the mammy and then I think about the strong Black woman. I think it's just we've evolved, but it still comes from that same archetype. It's us expecting the woman to carry everything. So the trauma and the labor of everyone around her, and still we expect her to show up and make sure that things get done. She doesn't get a chance to be vulnerable, right? She can't need anything. She just has to keep going. And we see that. Cookie keeps going despite all of the trauma, but her trauma wasn't the point. We were just supposed to focus on all of the things that she was able to do. Honestly, her resilience. The traditional mammy never asks for anything. That's the whole point of her. She gives, and she's supposed to be grateful for the chance to do it. And she definitely doesn't expect other people to owe her or even acknowledge that. But Cookie did all of those things, and somehow we were supposed to see her as being unreasonable when she wanted to collect a debt that was never going to be given back to her by the people in her life. The difference between Cookie and every other mammy that came before her is the fact that the mammy never got to come back. Cookie did, and she made sure everyone knew why. And although Cookie's story wasn't the main focus, it was definitely something I paid attention to. What I got from it is that your labor should be compensated. So I can appreciate this show for showing us a woman who comes back for what she knows is hers, right? It's nice to see a Black woman collect what's owed. So let's see more of that with less of the sacrificing for everyone else. I think Black women on screen have been put through enough. We don't need another story where a Black woman has to lose everything before she's allowed to want something. Please and thank you. That's all. Now let's get into Tony Childs from Girlfriends. If you watch Girlfriends, you know that Tony was the friend that everybody had an opinion about. She was glamorous and beautiful and very unapologetic about what she wanted. And yes, Tony had her moments. She was not always easy to defend. None of the girlfriends were. And trust me, we will get into some of those moments because I do plan on exploring her character a little bit further, but that's not what today is about. I just want to talk about how she represents the evolved Jezebel. The Jezebel, if you remember, is the woman whose desires are seen as dangerous. She wants things openly without apology. And those desires that she wants gets framed in a negative way, something that we as the viewer are meant to be suspicious of. But here's the thing about the Jezebel framing, or like that archetype. It makes us believe that she actually doesn't want the things that she desires. She's just using that to get something else. She can't be a woman that has standards. She has to be a woman with a scheme. So we know that Tony wanted a wealthy man. She wanted the designer, the status, and a life that looked a certain way. She used her looks and her femininity on purpose, and everybody knew it. She prioritized her own desires, oftentimes over her friendship and everything else. And the show didn't really hide that. Jill Marie Jones, who played Tony, said herself that the writers specifically wrote Tony as promiscuous. So if you haven't watched season 1 in a while, rewatch it and let me know what you think. But I don't think that was an accident. It was a deliberate choice. Even Joan, who plays her best friend, described Tony as someone who uses her beauty to get what she wants. And if that's how your closest friend frames you on the show, imagine how we as the audience is supposed to see her. Every choice Tony made put her in that category. She goes after wealthy men. That was her being manipulative. She uses her femininity. That's her being calculated. And when she's honest about the fact that she wants a beautiful life, that's vanity. I think the writers just wanted us to assume that Toni was surface level, but I think the better question is, why did she feel like she needed those things so badly? Well, eventually we find out that Toni grew up in poverty in Fresno with an alcoholic mother who was verbally abusive. She didn't grow up in stability or have anyone modeling what it looked like to be taken care of. So everything that she wanted as an adult was the direct opposite of everything that she survived as a child. Yes, she was bougie, and maybe in some ways that was rooted in vanity, but in other ways, I think she just used that as a form of defense. Every piece of designer or image of success was Toni putting so much space between who she was and where she came from. She was building a version of herself that that little girl in Fresno would be proud of. But even after saying that, there were moments that the show gave us that were extra controversial. I'm just going to talk about one, but there's an episode in Girlfriends. I'll put on the screen the exact episode because I cannot remember, but there is an episode in Girlfriends where Toni rejects a dark-skinned millionaire. And the reason she gave is because she was afraid that their children would be too dark. And when she said that, it created a reaction that we are still dissecting to this day. And I love that the show was able to bring these like bits of controversy, but I wish they wouldn't just gloss over it like they did after bringing it up. So I think it's worth exploring a bit more here. And maybe we can do other videos where we look at some of the other moments that we all remember about this show. But to me, that moment was internalized colorism from a darker skinned Black woman who spent her entire life trying to build proximity to lightness, to wealth, to everything the world told her was safe and also desirable, right? So the decision that she was making, in my opinion, was rooted in that survival instinct that she had to build when she was younger, even if it hurt someone else in the process. That still doesn't make it right. And again, I'm not going to speak for anyone because I can't say how this affected a darker skinned Black woman watching that scene. But I would like to know if you want to share in the comments below. I don't think it's a coincidence that the darkest skinned character on that show is also the one whose desires got treated as the most suspicious and shallow. I can also say that the other women like Maya and Lynn were also critiqued, but for their own reasons. But when we talk about Toni, especially in the context of the Jezebel, we can see a pattern. Historically, the Jezebel archetype was associated with lighter skinned Black women, women who were seen as closer to the European beauty standard and therefore seen as more desirable and dangerous, because although they were closer to this European standard, they obviously were not European. So that's what made them dangerous. But Toni's connection to this isn't about her complexion. It's about how she performed it. The designer labels, the polished image. Toni built herself into what we would see as like the Black Barbie. She claimed the beauty standard, but on her own terms. And that intentional desirability that she used is exactly why she would be seen as the Jezebel. Not because she matches the like physical traits of what used to be described as the Jezebel, if that makes sense. And she wasn't the only one. Yvonne, which was William's fiance at one point, was initially
I'm
written as like the strong,
back.
independent, and funny character.
I'm
And the
back.
writers basically wrote that
Hey, I'm
away because
back.
eventually William
What?
like
I don't know
pressures
how
her
to
to quit her
change the
career. He
damn
also hid
sign.
his
Oh my
relationship
god,
from
this is
his
so
family, and
aggravating.
he
I don't know how to
mispronounced
change
her
the
name for
fucking
their
sign.
entire relationship. When she finally left him at the altar, the audience wanted us to see her as the problem.
Mm, oh, that ain't no music playing. Yeah, we having some more ramen. I want me some motherfucking curry. I should have got them curry. Matter of fact, know that. Hold up. We don't. Nah. Y'all, I cannot stand a broke ass bitch. Hold up. How long we been live for, YouTube? How long we been live for? Well, 30 minutes. I don't know if I can cuss still. Yeah, I have this person in my life that's it's like, hey, okay, how your day been? Do you have a credit card? Like, just broke bitch behavior. Like, oh my god. Like, how you been? What you been up to? How's life? Just how much on your wallet? Just aggravating. Like, just aggravating. Like, can you, for the love of everything holy, stop asking me for money? Like, I don't have any money. Like, I have not been paid. I am broke. I only have 43 cents or 34 cents to my name. And, oh, well, you can put in your credit card. I can't. I have no money. Like, if I use my credit card, I gotta, like, I gotta hit that deposit. Uh, 2 potions. Like, I don't have any money. I don't like having no money in my pocket. Mostly because I'm very, like, bad with money. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I have somebody over my finances. No, like, not trying to be funny. Because I'm good with money. It just say if I don't have to pay for nothing, like, oh, I didn't pay my bills for the week. Let me go and spend some money. Because, I want to at least get it up to like level 10. Oh, how come you don't have no money? It's like I don't have paying and I'm paying. Like, I literally have nothing on my credit card. Like, okay, so the credit card platform that I use for money for finances is like credit card checkings, savings. You can take money out your credit card, put into your credit balance, swipe that credit card. Now, I have no money on my credit card. Only money I have is in my checkings. Savings flat. I just put my car in the shop. I have a car and I had to put it in the shop because the tires was not handling like they're supposed to. I knew my brakes is bad. I have some very bad brakes. So yeah. Not surprisingly, I gotta go put the car in the shop because I had driven the car somewhere and I was slamming on the brakes pretty hard. Uh oh, like I can clear your debt. I don't want my debt clear. I'm like I can pay this shit off myself if I need to. like I was it was Mother's Day and I was driving my car. Well, I was driving the car down the road from my house and I had to turn to a specific place. When I tell you I was smashing them brakes for dear life, like nah, playing, nah, this gotta get put in the shop. And if y'all ever, oh, I'm a Blaze Saints Row 2. Saints Row 2 car handling is just how my driving was. Bad. Hold up. And then the air vent, I only had one working air vent in my car. The only working air vent was not working right. So I was like, yeah, nah, playing, nah, nah, play. We ain't doing this today. No, we're not. Um, oh no, we in the wrong place. Let me backtrack. Yeah, I was like, nah, playing, nah, we can't. I had to put that bitch in the. I had to put that bitch in the shop. We had to like, mm-mm, put it in the shop. You should have seen how fast I was like, Miss, what's my homegirl's father name? Mr. Arias, Mr. Arias, put my car in this shop right now. And my car is not new. It is not new. It is a old not a Camry, an Impala. Ooh, why does this game look so much better than Emerald? I was like, yeah, put my car in the shop. I'm not even gonna hold you as soon as I said that. I was like, put my car in the shop. Nah, I can't deal. No, thank you. We can't do this. We can't deal with this. And it's raining. Great, let me go to Pokemon Center. Yeah, it's like, Someone text me, "Am I street not have a task for you?" No, I'm not. I don't care. Like I literally want to get this street done before my birthday because the 26th I have something planned, which will require me to like tomorrow Wednesday. The 26th is on a Friday. Uh, that's Newburgh, Silver Cave, Mahogany, the Lighthouse, Oscar Island. That's Victory Road. It's ting ting ting. I think these radio tower. I'm so confused about what I need to like. Okay, where in the world do I go to get this? I never played hard. I never played this. Uh, hold up. We are wrong place. When in you are empty. Go. I'm hope Mari gets up later because we're supposed to do something. This has to be the damn spot. That has to be the box. I mean, the get. Uh, don't let me find out I gotta walk. It's talking about it's further ahead. Hold up. Having a mini anxiety attack because I don't know. Do we have to go up them long staircase? Oh my god. We may go to Saints Row 2 faster than I expected. Because if a certain person can't get up, or we may just do Fortnite. I'm about to say, let's see if this game mimics real world weather. There you go. Yeah. I refuse to save until I get to this damn house. Plus, I need to get like a water move. And I'm either full of jazz. Can y'all just hop in a whip and just take me to where I need to go? Cause I swear to God, if I had to go stairs, wait, this is the house. Yo. Yo. I did all of that for a mother. Hey, it better be sunny side up. Ooh, I like how this game. His house is right close. Not up to the right, to the left, but it's close. You know what'd be nice? I wanna leave. I wanna leave. Y'all want to know what? Tune in next time for next episode of Pokemon Crystal. Hold up. Hold up. Just one thing that happened. I'm back. I had to see the power thing. It keeps seeming like fluctuating so damn much. Let me go put my cranberry juice back in the fridge. Oh no. We can't have music playing. Oh, I'll be forgetting. I'll be playing this game on my free time. Like, um, hold up, hold up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold up. Where's my little car that I always drive? You see how the car just uh uh you see how the car just wobbling to the side? That's how my brakes was. I was trying to brake. I didn't say this is just like driving in things around. So yeah, I'm I'm just wobbling from side to side going down the road like I hope nobody sees me. This is an instant violation of a traffic ticket. Oh my god. Well, I don't really need a map. I just know where I'm going. And it's like a bug glitch because the game is so old. Cause like a fun fact. This is I think I don't think I have the mod pack installed. Where matter of fact, hold up. If we're doing this in the early 2000s style, we have to hold up. I would download Pinterest, but I think I'm banned because a lot of my content I got on my Pinterest was like CC. Because when I used to play The Sims, that's kind of where I got my CC from. First time I had told me there's like a store for people who like sell CC. I was like, oh my god, thank you. Uh, Hold up. Just in case the game crashes. Just in case the game crashes. I'm finally gonna get it done tomorrow. Bitch! The fuck? And fucked up my damn car. The hell? They over here didn't like I'm crazy, but I like that. And of course, I would take the long way around. Where you from? I'm from Liberty City. Where you from? I'm from Liberty City. In my JT voice, where you from? B, I'm from Liberty City. Uh, I don't need to do Fight Club no more. See how I'm just walking in with little clothes, just a backpack, cause quit running from me. You know what? I realized I didn't have enough bullets. um, you know what? Player ability, infinite ammo. Let me see. Never die. Gotcha, bitch. Oh, he can't be down. It's like, this is for Carlos, Shanti, Pierce, me. Laid him out like a 10-pound brick. My car. Ugh. Oh no, I guess I gotta. Oh, you know what I'm finna go do? I'm gonna go buy a car. Oh, I thought it was the police. Ooh, I'm about to say, oh, bitch. Um, you can go to like the liquor store. Where the hell did the water come from? Now let me just take my happy looking self back to the hideout. Hold up. You know what it's time for? It's time to press to call a cab. Phone book. Answer. So, what's everybody having for dinner? Uh, where is it going? Unsatisfied customer. I'm all the way here by the university. Oh, I finally have the song. Get off him like that. You don't hear hating and spiting. Hold up. Wait, so you're part of organized crime to pay your way to loss? Not my problem, not my business. Hmm, I don't know if I was live when I. Um, so we've completed the mirror mission, y'all. Now we can start the other mission that I want to do. Hold up. We did Saints Row 2. Well, even though I didn't stream it, hold up. Ooh, seeing as I'm live, we might as well try to finish some Midnight Suns or no, I said last time we are gonna do Hitman and I had to follow through. Hold up. After this, we may do some think. Ghostwire. Oh, I'm playing my controller. Oops. I'm gonna get my cranberry juice. Just put it. I have cranberry juice. I'm thinking about making some more tea. Oh my god. I reckon it's the Wiz Khalifa pack, and I just got Wiz Khalifa earlier this month. I just saw Wiz Khalifa early this month, and I was just looking at my home. Well, my older sibling's friend. I was like, we're finna do the prologue. It's just him with this damn barcode. I somewhat think it's a tramp stamp. Not trying to get vulgar, but that's my opinion. Hold on, I'm about to take this water and boil it. Hold up. I'm back and I have a tea. How do I throw? Agility, ouch, holster. Double O baddie failed. Hold up. I keep forgetting to save. I'm gonna take this wine. I'm gonna go to the second deck and poison that damn bottle. I like how I'm just failing at the prologue. So we're just gonna just Mhm. I didn't know that my phone was on. I just had a whole stream from another person playing. Oh, Where my little case at? That my best friend. Yeah, real bad back. It's like she's my best friend. Girl, your friend's a low key dictator. I love the apple white gift. It makes everything so. You just on your phone. I'll be back. I gotta go do something. Oh, what I'm doing? He wants me to do something very stupid. I tried the weirdos. I tried the weirdos. I don't understand why. If it ain't weird, it's always in white. I can't explain. I could already get it around the oh, who is I did birthday points. Yeah, it was like somebody that put washing powder in. Who put washing powder in carpet cleaner? I was like, Tiffany, no, damn well, when I gave you that carpet cleaner, it had an aqua pink solution for my laundry bar, which is to use in a carpet cleaner to keep your carpet or use to wash the clothes. I was like, good. Probably didn't know how to use carpet cleaner. So I asked them, was like, nah, bitch. So she used it on her own, but I told her, not my problem. Yeah, she was talking about, oh, I didn't have around to fix the whole thing apart, and it still ain't working right. It looks like washing powder, just take the, you know, wash. It's just hard to say washing powder. Think that's what it is. Cool. So I'm here to talk about, I have an old school carpet cleaner. It's a carpet cleaner where like the HVAC part is right here, and the vacuum part is like right here. It's like a long tube, so it's just, you know what it is? Yeah. What is that? Oh, wash it out. Wash it out your carpet. That's what most people have. I think she went to like somebody like wash powder like it was game. You know how game has that look to it. It got that chunky over to it. It was that. It made me think it was her. 'Cause everybody was at a game. I was like, she did it. She made it because I'm the only, it was me and her, the only two that used that bitch. And I put pink shit in there. Yeah, like she pretty much like fucked the whole thing up. And I was and like it's not gonna be yeah, it's what I do. So it's like a laundry bar. You can use on your clothes or on a carpet. Yeah, like so like I had this Yeah, I'm gonna have to end stream early. I have to like do something urgent.